Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the team selection video for game week 27. We hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, how you doing, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. I think FA Cup is out of the way, obviously. The matches are played, and now we look forward to, obviously, the Premier League with the team selection for game week 27. I think there's a lot to talk about because there is a lot has happened, obviously, during this FA Cup period midweek.
Yeah, definitely. As you guys know, Black Game Week 29 has also been announced. So yeah, there's a lot to discuss really, and also planning and chip strategies are now at the forefront of our minds. So we'll quickly wrap up, obviously, Game Week 26, which was a blank game week, wasn't it? So we'll just mention how we did. So with my team, it was a pretty good week for me. As you guys know, I took a -8, and I still ended up on a decent green arrow. So in goal, I had Areola with the 2-pointer. Gabriel and Taylor also blanked. And then Ake did pick up a clean sheet after Man City's 1-0 win against Bournemouth. In the midfield is where I got all my points. Saka scored and got the 10-pointer. Douglas Luiz was like the star of my team. He got 2 goals, which was lovely. You know, he was one of my transfers in for a -4. He got me 15 points, which I was very happy about. Huang, a bit of a flop, really, because I'm going to be transferring him out, I think, this week. So he's come in to my team, got me 3 points, and he's probably going to be coming back out. Foden did pick up a goal, I believe, in that one as well, in the 1-0 win. 11-pointer up front. You know, Haaland gets the assist as my captain. Solanke did blank, and Watkins scored 2 goals as well. So that is my team, 71 points plus the -8. So yeah, it's a big green arrow, about 50, 60k. I think 50k green arrow up to 233k now. So very happy with my rank. And yeah, that's how my game week 26 went. Same for you, Jordan. Talk us through your game week 26 and how it went as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game week. Let's start off with Leno in goal. He got the 3 points. No clean sheet for him against that Man United game because Fulham did concede 1 goal, but they did win. Moving on to the back 3, so Estupiñán was benched again, so not really much to talk about with that, as he only played a few minutes and only got 1 point. Ake got his clean sheet against Bournemouth in that 1-0 win. Gabriel, unfortunately, had his clean sheet wiped when Newcastle scored the only goal in that game, where Arsenal won 4-1. In the midfield 4, we got Foden, who got his double haul for scoring the goal, getting the bonus, and the clean sheet, and scoring the only goal for Man City. Saka also got a double haul again. It's his 3rd one in a row for getting the 1 goal with the clean sheet and the bonus 2, with only playing the 75 minutes. Huang was silenced in that Sheffield United game. Only 1 goal came from that, and I believe that was from Sarabia. And yeah, nothing of any returns for Huang in that game, but he did get a clean sheet point. And finally, Gross, the only Brighton asset I think is worth going for, has again got a return. He got an assist, got a yellow card, but still got the bonus 3. The front forwards, we got Haaland, who was the captain pick for me. He got 10 points for the assist for Foden's goal, so he managed to get some return during that game. For Tony, on the other hand, he did blank, even though Brentford did score 2 goals. So it ends up only on 2 points. And finally, Watkins manages to keep his run of goals going by scoring another one and also assisting another in that 4-2 win over Nottingham Forest. And just quickly mentioning the bench, no actual returns apart from Branthwaite, who did manage to get 9 points for scoring the equaliser goal against Brighton and was rewarded with a bonus 1 point. But so far, obviously, blank game week 27 went pretty well for me. It was a green arrow. I was originally at 85k. I'm now hovering obviously around 68k. So it was a plus for me during that game week, even with West Ham and that Bowen hat trick. It did affect my green arrow slightly, but it's still green arrow nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Okay, brilliant. So green arrows for both of us in game week 26. Let's move on to game week 27 and how we're lining up and our transfer plans for this week. So this is what my bus team currently looks like. So I'll just read out the 11 for you guys, and then we will discuss what the plans are. Because there's a few ways I could have went with the team, but as of now, I've got Areola in goal. And obviously I've got Dubravka as well.
I think Huss is frozen.
Can you hear me? Am I okay, guys? I should be fine. I can see myself pretty fine. Let me know, guys. Because I think Jordan's actually frozen, actually. Okay, I'm going to carry on. I'll let Jordan join back the stream. I'm just going to message him, actually. Because I think he was the one that went out. Let me message him. Sorry, guys, about this.
We are back, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, sorry, Jordan. It was you that froze, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a weird one, but it seems to be back
Yes.
to normal now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So where was I? Areola in goal. He's playing Everton away. Dubravka's got Wolves at home. I probably will play Dubravka, you know. It's a tough one for me. I think it's a flip of a coin who I play, Areola or Dubravka. Right now, I'll probably lean just towards Dubravka, but we'll see in come the deadline. Back three, I've got Gabriel against Sheffield, probably the best fixture this week in terms of a clean sheet potential. So Gabriel, I do expect a clean sheet from Arsenal here. So he's a no-brainer starting him. Pedro Porro is an interesting one because there's some news that's come out from Paul O'Keefe. Paul O'Keefe has come out and said that Pedro Porro is a doubt, 50-50, Pedro Porro. So it looks like Pedro Porro could miss out against that Crystal Palace at home fixture. So if he does, I'm not too worried because I do have two defenders on the bench. They're not great options with Doughty and Taylor, but I'm going to start Pedro Porro. Hope he starts. If not, Doughty will come in against Villa at home. Ake completes the back three. He's got Man United at home. Again, can you see a clean sheet there for Man City? Maybe, but we know Man United could score, so I'm not too fast playing Ake in that fixture, and I've not got many other options anyway. In the midfield, Saka's got Sheffield away. I think that's a great fixture for Saka and Arsenal. I expect goals in this one, to be honest. And Sheffield are quite poor. Arsenal have been on a bit of a goal scoring run in the last 4 or 5 game weeks. And we know Saka's been doing well in the last 2 or 3 games. So I'm expecting big score from him potentially. Douglas Luiz, my transfer in last week, coming off the back of a 15-pointer. He's got Luton away next. I'm very excited to see what he can do against Luton. Hopefully, he can get me a goal or an assist or maybe a penalty. And I'll be very happy about that. Hwang, as we know, went off injured last night in the FA Cup game. Very frustrating. He was one of my transfers in. And unfortunately, Hwang's gone and got injured. So he's 100% missing the game against Newcastle. I think that's confirmed by his manager. So he will either have to be on the bench or the transfer out. And as of now, my plan is to transfer Hwang out, and I will reveal who in a sec. Foden's got Man United at home. I think I've got to play him. He's got a decent record against Man United. I believe the hat trick was it last season. Now I think it was. And yeah, I don't plan on benching Foden, to be honest. I just think Man United are quite poor. We don't know what we're going to get Man United. They've got injuries as well with Højlund. We know he's a big miss. So I think I'm going to just play Foden. Palmer. Chelsea were quite poor again yesterday. They did go through 3-2 against Leeds with a last minute goal. But Brentford do ship goals as well. And I think Palmer, he's last couple of games, he's not really returned, but I'm quite happy to play Palmer. He's a bit of a benching headache for me, as you can see, with Solanke in the bench as well right now. But yeah, we'll come on to that in a sec. But I think I'm going to start Palmer as of now. Up front, no debate really. Watkins, Luton away. I think it's a good fixture for him. And yeah, he's just consistent. And there's not really much to discuss on Watkins. He will be playing in my team. Haaland's exactly the same. Haaland again, Man United at home. I'm confident that he could do it. And especially after watching what he did against Luton, scoring 5 goals. I was thinking maybe Saka captain shout potentially against Sheffield because I think it is a good fixture for Saka. But yeah, I think Haaland getting 5 goals is a bit scary, I think, for me to back against him against Man United. So Haaland's a captain and he's in the team. On the bench, there is a bit of a benching headache. So Dubravka or Areola, I don't know who I'm going to play yet. And the benching option is Solanke or Palmer or Foden. I mean, who do I bench? Because as you'll see, the transfer in, I will have a benching headache. And then Doughty, I'm not too fast. Doughty will come in if Pedro Porro does miss the Crystal Palace game. And then Taylor, last bench. I've got 8.1 million in the bank, so I can go up to anyone I really like. You know, Salah if I want, Son. As you guys know from my transfer tips video as well, probably give it away who I'm bringing in. And the player I'm taking out is actually Hwang. So I am removing Hwang from my team as he is injured, and I'm bringing in Heung-min Son of Tottenham, which may not be a surprise. So I'm bringing in a South Korean player for another South Korean player. And yeah, I think Son is the one I want to go to because he's got a decent fixture this week against Palace at home. And I think going forward, I do like Son's fixtures. And I think for my team, the way it's set up, it's a bit of a no-brainer. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty 90% sure this is the lock transfer I'm going to make. And then the only problem I have left is Solanke. And as far as I'm aware, there's actually been a tweet, some team news, that's actually been said that Solanke looks like he could now face Burnley. So Solanke could be fit for that game. And if he is playing, then that leaves me with a benching headache. So do I drop Solanke or Palmer or Foden? A lot of people might say to bench Douglas Luiz, but I'm not so sure if I want to bench Douglas Luiz against Luton, especially after coming off 2 goals. And he's a bit of a differential for me. So what would you do in my situation, Jordan? Let's say Solanke we get news he's fit.
Yeah, I was about to say this because now that, well, let's say Solanke is fit for that Burnley away game, why don't you save that transfer? Instead of taking Hwang out, why not just play Solanke and then bench Hwang and then roll the transfer over? Because the rest of the team seems fine. Apart from Pedro Porro, obviously, you might be tempted at taking him out for maybe a Senesi. Then it sets you off a double game at 28 to have a player for that.
Yeah, so with Senesi, I'm not against bringing Senesi in, but it would be for Ake. Because next week, Ake has Liverpool, I believe. And I wouldn't mind Ake to Senesi. The regards I'm against selling Pedro Porro, guys, is because Pedro Porro has a fixture in blank game week 29 where a lot of players will be blanking. And I believe Pedro Porro, he's 50-50 for Palace, but he should be 100% available for game week 29. And I definitely want Pedro Porro for 29. So that's why I'm against selling him. But your plan, it could work, just keeping Solanke and then basically forgetting Son for another week. Because I will want Son for sure. I will want Son for blank game week 29. But yeah, I could delay it and not do the move and just go in with go into double game week 28 with 2 free transfers. But it's whether you see Son outscoring Solanke, or Solanke plays Burnley away, which is a nice fixture. But Son has a home fixture as well against Palace. So it is a tough one. What would you guys do in the chat? Let me know. Would you bring Son in and then play him, meaning you have to bench Solanke? Or would you just keep Solanke for another week, roll the transfer, and then have 2 free next week? Let me know, guys, what your plan is in the chat. What would you do if you were me? So that's what I'm looking at the moment. But yeah, let's move on to your team then, Jordan. Talk us through your game week 27 plans as well.
So yeah, here you go, guys. This is my team selection for game week 27. So let's start off with Leno, who plays Brighton at home, and I think I favour Leno in this fixture over Areola because Everton could produce a bit of trouble at West Ham. So I'm going to put the faith again into Leno, who has Brighton that have some very interesting results. Brighton, so I'm definitely going to play Leno, see what he can do, and maybe he can manage a clean sheet. Matoma is out for the season for Brighton, for those who don't know. So that does give a bit more, I'd say, positivity is for them losing their key player like him. But there is other quality players for Brighton. But I'm going to see what Leno can do. If he don't keep a clean sheet, there is the opportunity for those save points as well from him, which he has produced for me in the past. So let's move on to the back 3 defense. So there is a bit of a change in the back 3. So let's start off with Branthwaite, who's got West Ham at home. Now, obviously, this does clash with Areola. That's why I'm deciding to play Branthwaite. It was originally Estupinian, but I can't trust Zerbi in terms of him starting. So I'm going to go with Branthwaite for this week, and hopefully he can get me something from the 9 points I did miss out on last week when I did bench him and played Estupinian over him, which was I'll say a bad move, but I didn't think Estupinian would be benched again. So I'm deciding to obviously see what Branthwaite could do in that fixture. Next, we've got Gabriel, who has Sheffield United away. And yeah, we've spoken about obviously Arsenal. I think this is a good fixture for them this week. And I think it's one they can easily get the win and get the 3 points. And potentially a clean sheet in that as well against Sheffield, even though it's an away game. I still think Arsenal at the moment are pretty gun-ho in terms of goals and in terms of keeping clean sheets, even though they did not get one last game against Newcastle, but that was that could have been a clean sheet for them too. And let's move on to the final defender, and that is Ake, who has Man United at home. Now, there is some upside, I think, going for a Man City defender this week, because Man United have suffered a few key injuries. The one we've spoken about, obviously, Højlund, but also Luke Shaw is out long term as well. And I do think that does affect Man United in some parts where Luke Shaw is not present in that defence, and it just looks very vulnerable, even more vulnerable. And entirely, the whole of Man United looks very not as great when you have these key players missing in the squad. So I think Ake, you never know, there could be a clean sheet in there for them, but it's going to be a tough game as it is a Manchester derby. But we have to wait and see. It should be a good game to watch. So let's move on to the midfield four. So first of all, we've got Gross, who's got Fulham away. Yeah, I've not been disappointed with Gross. Honestly, he's been a pretty good asset if you have owned him previously for the returns he's had, and I think he's in a good position due to obviously Matoma being out for the whole season now. Gross is pretty much nailed in terms of Brighton player. I think he's only missed 3 games, but one of them being he came off the bench. But apart from that, he's played 90-minute football up to this moment in time. He's had a good attacking record, 4 goals and 10 assists, which maybe is a bit underlooked considering he's under 10% ownership and he's 6.5 million. But again, Brighton assets haven't been really exciting to own, as we know from Estupinian. But I like the fixture. Fulham have conceded a lot of goals this season, and yeah, I'm happy to play Gross for that one. Moving on to the next player, that is Saka, Sheffield United away, and yeah, 3 double hauls now for Saka in a row now, and this could be a potential captaincy for this week due to that fixture. It should be an exciting one, I think, if you are going to captain Saka, but for me, he is my vice. Moving on to the next player, that is Palmer. He's got Brentford away, and a lot of you did get rid of him in that blank game week where Chelsea didn't have a fixture, so it will be interesting what happens when he goes against Brentford, who do concede a lot of goals. They just conceded 4 goals to obviously West Ham, so this is an interesting fixture where Chelsea could have a really good game, especially in particular Palmer, who's looked amazing for Chelsea since he's joined them. And finally, in the midfield to complete it, we have Foden, who has Man United at home, and yeah, he has a good record against Manchester, and especially a home fixture at the Etihad as well. There's no doubts Foden can get something out of that game. I mean, again, it's going to be tough, whether it's high or low scoring, who knows? With Manchester, it's hard to predict what the scoreline will be, but I'm happy to play Foden nonetheless. And finally, moving on to the front 3. So let's start off with Tony, who has Chelsea at home. So it is Chelsea versus Tony versus Palmer, as they do clash together. And Tony does come off of a blank against West Ham. It doesn't put me off really, because he is a hot and cold player. Like I've mentioned before, he does blank here and there, and then does a massive haul of score 2 or 3 goals or 1 in a fixture. So with Chelsea as well, you never know. He could get something out of that game. But both teams, I think it'll be end to end, if I'm honest, in that game. So there should be a lot of goals during that fixture. Moving on to the next forward, that is Watkins. He has Luton away. And yeah, it's another good fixture. I mean, Luton just conceded obviously a lot to Man City in the FA Cup. Obviously, regardless of Premier League we're speaking about, Luton are good at home. You can't forget that. They do put up a fight against teams that do show a lot of attack, and I do imagine that Aston Villa will hold most of that possession and Luton will play on the counter attack. But again, Watkins I feel like he's irreplaceable at this current moment. I think he's here till the end of the season because his form has been pretty good up to this point. And finally, my captain choice for this week, and that is Haaland, who has Man United at home. I think I feel pretty confident after seeing Haaland score 5 against Luton in the FA Cup game, which he probably won't replicate against Manchester, but there is that possibility of Haaland doing some damage in Gameweek 27. So he's definitely my captain for this week. I think I'm too scared, I think, to captain anyone else because Saka does look tempting. Even Palmer does, but because of that fixture against Man United, I'm going to put the faith in Haaland, I think. And just quickly on the bench, so obviously my bench goalkeeper is Areola, who's got Everton away, and yeah, I do see a clean sheet wipe for him, so I'm deciding to bench him. Estupiñán, but there's no real much to talk about with here. It's just the risk of rotation really, and whether he starts or not. And I don't think he will start against Fulham away because Zerbi seems to not like him, or there's no clear reason why Estupiñán doesn't start these games now. And then the other two players who are currently flagged, obviously Bell's flagged. He might miss out on Aston Villa home game. It's not entirely clear. And obviously Hwang's out for that Newcastle away game. That is 100% confirmed, as he is red flagged. But in terms of the moves going forward, so I have 3.5 million in the bank, and I do have two free transfers. So I do need to make a move. Now, I'm going to originally stick to the plan I had before when I showed you on FPL.team what my long-term plan was. So I'm going to use 2 free transfers, and the players I'm going to use those 2 on, I'm thinking of taking Foden out, which seems pretty crazy, and taking obviously Tony out as well. So it'd be 2 transfers for Foden and Tony. And the 2 players that I'm looking to obviously bring into the team for these 2 are going to be Salah and Morris. Now, let me explain. Obviously, it would have been Adebayor if he wasn't flagged, and potentially he has a hamstring injury, so I'm not even sure if he's going to be fit for that double game week in 28. So I have opted to go for Morris instead. But in terms of this week, he has Aston Villa at home, which isn't a great fixture to play him for, but he's just there ready for when he has that double afterwards. I was going to actually bench him and play Hwang instead, but in this current position, I'm kind of forced in playing him as I don't really want to play Estupiñán, as I'm not sure whether he will start or not. So I will play Morris. He may potentially blank because I don't see much happening in terms of attack for Luton, but you never know. Morris is on penalties. And then the other move is obviously Salah, who, yeah, he's currently flagged as well. And it's not sure really if he's ready for Nottingham Forest away, but I'm going to bring it in nonetheless, just in case he is. I don't want to miss the boat on Salah, especially when he's very low owned currently. I think he's just over 20% now. So I do want to get in there quick before his price rises and a lot more people start to bring him in. Because there might be a possibility he could play minutes in that game and potentially get a return. He did that previously for Liverpool. So, yeah, Nottingham Forest have conceded again, a team that has conceded a lot of goals this season. So I don't want to miss the boat on Salah. So I'm deciding to bring him in, even if he doesn't play, which could be a risk.
Yeah, obviously Liverpool did play last night. They won 3-0 now against Southampton. Salah wasn't on the squad. He wasn't on the bench either. But it looks like Salah could be fit for Forest. And it looks like, I mean, the Klopp was asked about Salah, Nunez, and Szoboszlai, and he just shrugged. He said he doesn't really know much. But I'm sure we'll get some team news as well. And I think Salah should be fine, for the Forest game. So for those that are tempted by Salah against Forest, because it is a good fixture, obviously on paper. Just looking at when Liverpool play on, it is a Saturday kickoff, 3:00 kickoff. So we probably won't get any early team news. There's no early fixtures on Saturday. So I think we'll just have to wait and see what Klopp says on Friday or tomorrow. I think Klopp's press conference, isn't it? So if Klopp says Salah's fine, then obviously that makes the decision a bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. That does leave me 1.4 million in the bank, and then obviously I'll use both of those transfers for Game Week 27.
Okay, so let's get into some comments now. We've got Genius Quick Gamer who says, "Hey, hello mate, I hope you're well." We've got Spurs 64 says, "You're fine, Haas. Jordan has frozen." Yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
On my side, I was completely fine. Hi lads, says Patrick. What do you think of De Bruyne, Hwang for Odegaard and Son for -4? Will 3 hit in Game Week 29? I like the Son move. I like Odegaard potentially as well, because I mean, if you want to go different, if you've not got Saka, or if you want to double up on Arsenal, it's not a bad shout. But But yeah, I am doing the Son move myself. Um, I'm not sure about Tavernier as a punt, personally. You could go there. I mean, he could definitely pay off. But I mean, what do you think of this punt, Jordan?
No, because Tavernier doesn't start every game as well. So that could be a risk for the double if he isn't in the starting 11 for one of the fixtures as well.
And Spurs 64 saying Salah in potentially. Obviously, you spoke about Salah. Pasta says, "Hey boys, hello Pasta. Hope you're well."
Hey, Pastor.
Roman Jarvis, hi lads. Me myself have already bought in Son, but wondering what to do with Huang. Worth benching or take out for a hit. I'm just really unsure on Estupinian, which I think is a fair to have doubts on him. I think if you're forced into starting Estupinian, take him out and bring in another defender. At this point,
Yeah.
I would get rid of. I would sell Estupinian right now if you had him. If you're forced into playing him, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. As a Estupinian owner, it is frustrating, and I don't think it's worth the risk because after Estupinian being benched that last game, which I didn't think he would be, that's put a lot of doubt in me to actually even have him in my team. I mean, if I could, I could take him out myself instead of taking out obviously these players, but I do want Salah in, so I'm in a position where I have to really bench him and hope that he doesn't start.
We've also got keep Solanke, right? Yeah, I think Solanke, you'd want to keep him now, especially if we hear rumors are he should be fine. So if he is, then got a decent fixture. So we'd want to keep him. Who would you start between Solanke or Palmer, Jordan?
Ooh.
That was sort of my debate as well, actually, in my team.
Yeah, I think I would start Palmer slightly over Solanke. I just think, even though Solanke has a better fixture, arguably, I think with that Brentford one, I could see Palmer outscore Solanke. I still see, obviously, him scoring a goal, but I see Palmer getting maybe more from that game over him.
Yeah, fair enough. If you don't have a free hit, you should wildcard now to set up for blank game week. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of debate. I mean, I think there's so many ways. The chip strategy this season it is team dependent. Like some people might need a wild card this week. Some people might wild card in 28. As of now, my plan is to save the free hit until like game week 34, like late, very late. I don't plan to use any chips until maybe game week 31 when I'll probably use my wild card. And 29, I'll probably try just get by, I think, and use it later, my free hit. So I'm not sure yet. Obviously, it's team dependent. I don't think there's one approach fits all sort of thing in this time.
Yeah, I've already used my second wild card really early in the season, so I'm pretty much going to be free hitting in 29 when there's a massive blank for a lot of
You
the
definitely
players.
locked into that free hitting.
Yeah,
Or...
I think 100% I am.
okay.
I don't think I'll be able to manage through hits, so I think a free hit is more, more acquainted in that time.
Okay. My plan is to get by 29 without any chips, but we'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm thinking wildcard 31, and then I'm thinking free hit 34. Sorry, not free hit 34. Yeah, free hit 34, and then maybe bench boost 37 or something like that. And then that will be my plan. But we'll see. Sell Haaland. Yeah, I wouldn't be selling Haaland before he plays Man United, James. I know you're a United fan, but not for me. I'd be keeping Haaland. Wildcard now if you don't have a free hit to set up for a game week 29. I mean, it depends on your team. If your team looks good for this game week, then you don't need to wildcard really. If you've got the likes of, Watkins, you've got a Haaland, Palmer, Saka, etc., you may not need it. Again, Roman Jarvis, would you sell Huang or Estupinian first? Probably Huang. Again, it depends if you have to play. If you can't get 11 players out, then sell whoever allows you to have 11. But I'll probably be looking to get rid of Huang as he is going to 100% miss out the Newcastle game. Estupinian, we don't know, but he probably will because we've seen Estupinian be benched on multiple occasions now. So I wouldn't trust relying on Estupinian if you are playing him every week, as he's just too much of a risk. I also want to add, guys, if you are watching and you are enjoying the content, if you do appreciate what we do. Please make sure you smash the like button. It really helps support the channel. All your likes are appreciated. Also, if you haven't already, if you're watching for the first time, please do smash the subscribe button as well, as that also helps us out. We are close to 1.1k on subscribers, so do get us there. We're only like 2 or 3 away. So to hit that subscribe button, guys, and hit that like button as well on your way out. And I think that's it from us. We are back again on Saturday for the deadline stream. So it is a 1:30 deadline on Saturday, which is nice. If this is a late deadline, I hope I will be there. I'm pretty sure. I know I missed the last deadline stream, but this one, yeah, is a 1:30 one. So yeah, we'll go live around 12:30. Make sure you tune in. Obviously, we're going to make some transfers live for you guys, and yeah, we'll discuss our teams for game week 27. This is where it gets interesting, as we've been saying. These next couple of weeks, blanks, doubles, chips, etc. So it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. But yeah, that's it from me. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely exciting now. This is the time of the season where chips are going to be played, strategies are going to be formed, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of transfers, obviously, in this deadline stream. Whether we stick to our transfer plans, you have to wait and see. So tune in Saturday, and you'll see, obviously, what we plan to do. So it should be very exciting. But until then, take care. Almost there at the weekend, so have a lovely Friday. And then until then, see you soon.